Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Victory Lounge presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. That's right. Your Chicago Blackhawks went into Calgary without Jonathan Toews, with Boris Katchouk, and beat the living hell out of the Calgary Flames.
Jackson Stauber.
That was unexpected. And
yes.
I would love to see Daryl Sutter's post-game press conference after this one.
It's going to be probably very quick, very tense.
Yeah.
One-word answers and
four-letter answers.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Some. Every time I see him, I just think of Sam from the Muppets, the Blue
Sam
Eagle.
the Eagle?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just going to be those angry stares.
It's accurate.
Staring back at us.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi. We've got Joey running the show today. Make sure you like our YouTube video. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page as well. If you are on the podcast, make sure you're subscribed or following us there. And if you're on Apple or Spotify, a 5-star review would really mean the world to us. Takes 30 seconds, really helps us out big time. So leave us a 5-star review. And we got to let you know our takeover is happening February 10th. Very few tickets remain. It might be.
You can count them on one hand.
Yeah, it's single digits.
We've not been told it's sold out.
It's about as close as you can get without being sold out.
We were told yesterday morning there were 6, and then I did my part to make sure it was 5. So you were at least 5 or less right now.
Yeah, so jump on that, allchgo.com. Remember, diehards save 20% on the tickets there and everything. Allchgo.com, including everything in CHGO Locker, which features a really sweet new Hawks design that you will get for free if you go to the takeover. So February 10th, jump on that before tickets are sold out, because it will be. It will be sold out within a matter of days. So let's get to this game here. Coming in again, no Jonathan Toews, Jackson Stauber in net, Luke Phillip in the lineup, Boris Katchouk back in. This was the tankiest lineup you could possibly have come up with for the Blackhawks.
First-line center, Jason Dickinson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they came out.
And they whipped them around the ice.
They did. This was, look, like the shots on goal and stuff are pretty even. You look at the fancy stats, they're pretty even. But this game never really felt out of control for the Hawks. And what I loved about this game, and it's a weird trend that we've seen, when Toews or Kane are out, this team just sort of simplifies things, and they just play north and south and play their game, and they do pretty well. They deserve a lot of credit in this one. They had every excuse to lose this game and lose it handily, and they came out and put on a hell of a road game, and they deserve some credit.
Yeah.
Can we go back to find the video of right before the season where I predicted the Calgary Flames to win the Stanley Cup and burn the evidence that I ever said that? Because that team that played tonight looked like garbage. I know that's not. I mean, they came in winners of 2 in a row, and they're still in a playoff spot for the moment, I believe. But man, I don't know what the Flames should be so much better. And I know they had a lot of turnover. You lose your top 2 guys, 200-point guys from a year ago in Gaudreau and Katchouk. But you replaced them with Kadri, who's having an all-star year, and Huberdeau and Weegar. I know it takes some time for those guys to kind of gel and get together, but we're halfway through the season. We're beyond
should be there by now.
Like, what is up with this? Is Daryl Sutter already worn out his welcome there? Are they already tuned? That's happened everywhere he goes, but it usually takes 3 or 4 seasons before that happens.
It doesn't,
and you win something before he does it.
It doesn't help when your marquee goaltender is a sub 900 save percentage.
Yeah, he's not.
I picked him to win the Vezina too. I'm sorry, Calgary. This is all my fault.
Yeah, I mean,
Greg curse.
Look, that Stanley Cup pick is, maybe they weren't the favorites, but that's not a laughable pick by any means when you look at what they've done. Yeah, again, they lost Katchouk and Gaudreau, but they brought in some really quality players to fill in the gaps, and they are one of those teams that's built for the playoffs, and I still believe that if Calgary gets in, they're very dangerous. You know, they can definitely make some noise if Markstrom figures things out. And, you know, they've got – we talk about the trade deadline all the time. If they can move out Milan Lucic somehow and bring in somebody that can really help them.
Future Blackhawk Milan Lucic.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know if Patrick Kane or Jonathan Toews or whoever want to go to Calgary. We know Jake McCabe doesn't. but
Yeah.
you know,
They could maybe go out and get a Bo Horvat.
Yeah,
other guys, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Trade Lucic here for Lucic and a pick for. Is Michael Hekarainen available to send back again?
Yeah.
Something like that. You know, send them, you know, the equivalent of Evan Barrett for Milan Lucic and a third-round pick, and then they can trade with somebody else.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
get the
getting-
Blackhawks in a three-team
as a
deal
third team.
to take something. They could figure something out. Here's my theory about tonight, though, as we'll see later in the tank standings. Not like I don't think everybody's as angsty about this win because both the Ducks won tonight
Yeah.
and the Coyotes won tonight. Ducks beat the Avalanche. I'm sure that DNVR Avs show is chock full of kid-friendly language right now.
Probably not great. Probably not great.
And then the Coyotes beat the Blues 4-0. Hate to see that.
no, it's brutal.
Love to see that.
So-
5-0 actually. I think.
5-0. Even
yeah.
better.
Nick Schmaltz hat trick.
Hung the
Smokes
5
that.
on 'em.
So here's my theory about tonight. Last night, before the Prospects game, where Connor Bedard was amazingly held without a point, he wasn't trying. Bust. Drop him down to number 2 just
Yeah, I
in
agree.
case. Gary Bettman spoke and said, was it before the Prospects game or was it
No, it was-
before the
It was on Tuesday.
whatever it was?
It was Tuesday.
Yeah, but he was in the area for that game or something. Whatever.
It was. I think it was like the Prospects Media Day stuff.
So anyway, Gary Bettman the other day took a lot of flack online for saying nobody's tanking. There's no tanking in the NHL.
There's no taking in hockey.
So, and of course, everybody immediately was like, "You bullshit,"
All right.
because one of your biggest storied franchise teams is clearly tanking this season.
Yes.
So here's my theory. If I had tinfoil, I'd put it on my head right now. I think after he took heat from that, he looked at tonight's schedule and he called Calgary and he called the Avalanche and he called the Blues and said, "Hey, can you guys all just like mail it in tonight so the 3 tanking teams win and I look like I knew what I was talking
See,
about?
look how smart I am.
Nobody's tanking. They all won tonight."
And then Kyle Davidson intercepted the call and said, "Jonathan, are you feeling
Oh,
okay?
let
You should sit out tonight."
Let me take your temperature.
Did the
Ooh,
old,
99 degrees. I don't think you should play.
Gave Taves the old Lloyd Christmas pouring the
Oh, yeah.
pouring the X-Lax in the pregame Gatorade.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe-
I'm sorry, BioSteel.
Maybe he had some of that. Maybe he went to the one bad sushi restaurant in Vancouver the other night. I hear that place is like the best city for sushi.
Makes sense. There's water by there.
Someone sent him some bad shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd be remiss, by the way, if we didn't talk about Jackson Stauber, who was outstanding again in this one.
Future number 1 goalie of the Blackhawks, Jackson Stauber.
It's funny because as we discussed last time he played, not like the most impressive numbers in Rockford by any means, but he's come up here. He's looked poised. He's looked real under control in the net. He's not real scrambly.
No.
I think he's probably feeling like, hey, I got nothing to lose here by playing well and just play your game and see what happens. He's been really, really good. I've been impressed with him.
Well, and the 2 games that he's played, the team's played relatively well in front of him.
Yeah.
Like that Blues game and the game tonight did not look like a normal Blackhawks game that we've come to expect this season. Especially
odd man rushes against or
right, yeah.
There wasn't those
too many times getting pinned in your
there
own
wasn't
zone
those
or anything
2-minute
like that.
shifts in your own end that they're good for 2 or 3 a night.
Yeah, they had a solid effort tonight, so that makes the goaltender's job a little bit more, a little bit easier. And I didn't see the final numbers, but the Blackhawks had at least a 3-to-1 ratio of block shots than the Flames did. So they were getting in front of shots. I know the shot attempts were like 70-49 in favor of the Flames, but the actual shots on goal were relatively even. So the defenders in front of him were really helping him out.
Hawks had 18 block shots. The Flames had 6.
3-1.
Shots on goal were 35-29 in favor
Not
of
just a
Calgary.
hat rack.
So yeah, it's,
Yeah, so they played well in front of him. So it's and he made the saves that he was called on to make. And hey, 2-0 in his NHL career. I said after his first win he should retire on top. Now he should definitely retire on top.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, there are so many guys though that like, wow, best game of the year from fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Colin Blackwell
was
great in this game.
Over the ice tonight.
He could have
in
had
a good
3
way.
goals easy.
He could have, but he's Colin Blackwell.
Instead, he had 3 big ol' glances towards the ceiling tonight. But yeah, he was everywhere. Picked up an assist. I think Reese Johnson had the empty net goal, correct?
No, it was Connor Murphy.
Oh, it was Murphy. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, then if Johnson had gotten that point, it would have been each forward would have had a point on the night, which is crazy to think that this Blackhawks team would be able to accomplish something like that.
Yeah. It's this is, if I was to predict what was going to happen tonight, this would be probably the last thing I predicted. That's my phone over there.
Yeah.
It's beeping. Sorry. I'll go grab it during an ad break.
Did you have a little too much sugar?
There must be an alarm on it or something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it.
It's over.
over.
It's on. All right.
It's
Live
gone.
podcasting. Gotta love it.
It's been detonated. Yeah.
Yeah. But Blackwell was great. Just
Great
as he always does, bringing the energy, finishing checks, being the hardest working player on the ice, and good to see him get some offensive chances. But you feel for him.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my God, man! Like everything
so much
is so
effort.
difficult. And he was 1-on-1 with the goalie twice in this game.
Yeah.
And the second time, where he sort of just, I don't know if he hit the post or just like launched it straight up in the air.
No, so he had two moves. He went forehand back in and got stopped both times. But yeah, the third one, I think just like clipped Markstrom just enough and went up into the netting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a, the Mighty Ducks line a quarter inch the other way, and Colin Blackwell was talking about a hat trick, which if you could imagine that.
Crazy. It's man, I can't imagine being a guy, you play almost every game. He's been in the lineup almost
Pretty consistently
early in the
now,
year. He's
yeah.
kind of in and out since the, probably December. He's been in pretty consistently, and you'd think like just by playing that much hockey, you'd end up getting some goals a hit in the butt or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just snake bit. But hey, man, if he keeps playing like this, eventually you'd think somehow the luck's going to turn.
Yeah.
Because he certainly deserves it. If anyone deserves to have a couple
He's
goals in
trying
this
his
one,
ass
it's him.
off every night, which we always commend him for. But yeah, tonight would have been a great night for him to be rewarded with a goal, but wasn't to be. But 5 others came for the team tonight, so hard. It's not like those 3 chances he missed cost them the game. They were good. They were good tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think a big driver of the offense tonight. He just had just 1 assist, I believe. 1 assist. But Patrick Kane was Patrick Kane tonight. Like, he had the goal last game. Tonight he was just flicking passes around nonchalantly and just creating space for himself and skating real well. So I think, there were a lot of chatter here over the last few games that he's not 100%. He's been fighting a leg injury, a knee injury. So yeah, he probably wasn't. And people worried about maybe his trade value is declining because he's not playing. Well, if you were a scout and you were watching tonight's game and even the last game against Vancouver, you're not worried about Patrick Kane so much right now. He was fabulous tonight. Maybe his best game of the season. We had that 1 3-point game. Who was that against? That was 7 years ago. Even though
It feels like
I
it.
don't
but
remember.
I mean, this was his best game in a long time tonight. It was a game when every time he was on the ice, one of the few times this season when he felt dangerous every time he was on the ice. We haven't seen that a lot.
To finish with 1 assist, he only had 2 shots on goal. So if you just look at the box score, you're not gonna. It doesn't seem like a great Patrick Kane night, but
Right.
the assist that he got was a beautiful backhand along the left wing board to send Jason Dickinson in all alone, and he scored. And then there was one that he fed right across the crease to Athanasiou that just didn't go in.
Yeah.
He was just.
I think he
feeling
set
it
up
today.
one of those Blackwell scoring chances too.
I think so, yeah, because I think it was the third
Yeah,
chance
the
he
one
had,
that let him-
because we were like, Colin Blackwell getting ice time with Patrick Kane. Who had that on their
Well,
radar
I mean,
card?
we've been joking all season that we need to start a remember when document. So in 3 or 4 years, we were like, remember when? Tonight we had a couple of them. Remember
Yeah.
when Jason Dickinson was your top line center? Remember when Colin Blackwell got shifts with Patrick Kane? These are the things we're going to laugh about, hopefully, in 3 or 4 or 5 seasons when the Hawks are playing in an important Stanley Cup playoff game. And we go like, man, remember that night we had to sit there and watch Patrick Kane and Colin Blackwell on the same line?
Yeah.
Those are the good days.
Yeah, our buddy NN Shocky Boy says he voted in a pregame poll that the Hawks would win. We ran something before the game. I put this up with all the tank teams playing. I said, who's going to win tonight? Which tanking team is going to win? And I put all 3, the Ducks, the Hawks, and the Coyotes. And then the fourth option was they all lose. Well, they all won.
They all won.
Yeah.
Option E. Yeah.
Again, who would have predicted that just as Gary Bettman drew it up?
Yeah, I look. We were celebrating the fact that Anaheim with some timely wins and overtime games, and Columbus with some overtime games put the Blackhawks right back into last place. And we'll completely update the tank standings, but the Blackhawks are no longer in last place. So we can all freak out about the tank and have it fail, and we'll never get Connor Bedard ever again, and all that. But
I have to say, though, there's not been a lot of freaking out in the chat. I do have one guy, Joseph, who tweeted at me, going to mess up the tank. Awesome. Again, this is the tankiest lineup that ever tanked.
This is on the Flames, man.
This is
You're be mad. Be mad at
it's
the
a Flames
Flames
problem tonight for
This
sure.
was not. You can't be mad at the Blackhawks when you look at that line, that lineup tonight. This is if you're gonna be mad at the Flames for just putting their jerseys on the ice and thinking they're gonna walk away with a win.
You have your 4th string goaltender, no Jonathan Tays.
5th string goaltender technically.
5th?
Well, I mean Dylan Wells has played before him.
Oh well, yeah. But coming into the season,
It just makes it sound worse. When
sure,
you say
yeah.
fifth.
Your 4th or 5th goaltender, depending on who
your
you
backup
talk to.
in Rockford just beat you.
Yeah. And no Jonathan Tays, less than 100% Patrick Kane, and you lose.
No Tyler Johnson.
No Tyler Johnson. You lose 5-1.
Yeah.
That's on the Flames.
On home ice.
On home ice.
Oh, that's what they get for wearing those black jerseys instead of the
Absolutely.
red.
the Stampede jerseys.
Absolutely.
Or what's it called? Not Stampede.
I thought that, yeah.
The horse head has a name.
Yeah.
Is it called
Garbage Horse?
And members of Garbage Horse. I don't know the answer to that.
It's
You're
something.
right. There is a name.
I thought
It's
it was-
stupid
I thought it
and
was
it's an awful
Stampede.
logo.
Flamey or Stompy or something. I can't remember.
Stompy.
It's stinky.
Stompy the
Stinky
horse.
garbage horse.
Anyway, it sucks regardless. I do like the pants, though. The pants were cool with like kind of the 3 squares.
Love
but
your pants.
those are you've got,
You got a good set
finally
of-
the Flames
you got a
bring
good set
back
of pants
the
there.
proper uniforms. The old school, the red and the yellow and the white. And then I got to look at that.
Oh,
That's like
that
almost as
name.
bad as the Dallas Stars uterus jersey they had a few years ago.
It's, I think, the same designer.
Jay, were you thinking of Old Blasty? That's what.
Blasty. That's
Old
what it
Blasty.
is.
Is it
Yeah.
Blasty?
Blasty.
That makes it
no,
even
it's-
worse.
It's not Blasty. It's Old Blasty.
Old
Blasty.
Blasty.
That
There
was
you go.
Daryl Sutter's nickname
That is his nickname.
because of his flatulence issues.
Yep.
I don't. That's a terrible name. That horse is supposed to look intimidating. It's literally breathing
Yeah,
fire.
oh, look out. Here comes old Blasty
You
coming to
name
get me.
it Blasty? He should be
Old
like
Blasty.
Hellfire or something cool.
Yeah.
And what was the name of the flaming puck thing they had for a little while too? Was it like
The
Sparky
Flames?
or something like that? There was the Flames had
Isn't that the
puck
dog
mascot.
Isn't that the dog? Is Sparky?
I don't
Harvey
know.
the Hound.
Harvey
Harvey
the
the
Hound.
Harvey the Hound.
Textured. I
No,
don't
they
know
had,
what that
Who's Sparky?
Calgary. Yeah, you Googled the right thing. The puck mascot.
Huck
I
character.
can't remember what it was called.
Puck mascot.
So maybe someone in the chat remembers, but regardless,
Good Lord.
Calgary, you've got an awesome primary logo.
Just
You've got
leave it
awesome
alone.
colors.
Old
Stop
Blasty.
messing with
Old
everything.
Blasty.
There, it's right there. You just had it right there. See that flaming?
Oh yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
What is that?
That's
Two
Harvey-
over. No,
Oh,
two
this-
over.
this
yeah,
guy.
that thing.
What?
Oh my God.
What is
Scorch.
Scorch.
Scorch was his name.
Rip. R.I.P. Scorch.
Scorch.
It's
Is
so
that
bad.
Abbotsford?
That is Abbotsford, but I think Calgary used Scorch for a while too.
Oh man.
Oh my God, so bad. Yeah, they deserve this loss for the history of bad decisions they've made with uniforms and mascots.
A puck with flames.
So yeah,
coming out.
he's controversial. He was inspired by the Great Fire at Glens Falls.
Oh,
Okay.
Goodness.
Well,
Oh,
he also
a-
rumored horrible racist too, from what I've heard. So yeah, he's
get-
very controversial. Scorchy.
Old Blasty,
Forgot about
the garbage
Scorchy. Who could
horse.
forget? Oh, what a legendary
I've been
collection of bad decisions by the Flames.
I've been rendered speechless.
Good. It's a podcast.
There are so many terrible jokes I want to use, and I
man.
just don't know which one to start with, so I'm just going to remain silent.
That works.
Oh my God! Tell us about ComEd lighting so I can go check
yeah,
my
I'll
phone.
go. Yeah. ComEd lighting. Hey, you want to save energy and money? You need to get yourself some ComEd energy efficiency programs and information to help you save money and energy now and into the future, because ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve manage their energy usage and lower your energy bills. ComEd offers a wide array of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their territories. Customers can inquire about how to upgrade outdated lighting to energy and money-saving efficient LED lights. Learn more about network lighting to operate your lights through your mobile device and track your facility's energy usage and more. Incentives have recently increased for indoor, outdoor lighting and networked lighting controls, making these projects even more cost-effective than before. If you want to do all that, go to comed.com/poweringbizz to start saving energy and money. And to start a project, you can always call them at 855-433-2700. And of course, you can email them businessee@comed.com or publicsectoree@comed.com.
Hey, you can take all that money you're using saving on your lighting and energy and head over to Game Time. Get yourself some tickets to some Blackhawks games. Maybe you want to go to a Bulls game. I don't know. After listening to our Bulls postgame show, I'm not sure you want to do that anytime soon.
That.
But I would imagine those tickets are pretty cheap these days. Those Bulls tickets, the Hawks tickets, you're never going to find a better deal anywhere else for any ticket you want to go to, whether it's Bulls, Blackhawks, a concert you want to see, you want to go see a musical, a play. Game Time will help you out. Anything you want, they've got the best deals and the biggest last-minute price drops. Don't look up. Don't look up. Don't look up. You won't find a better deal on
I put it away.
Blackhawks.
I'm going to wait for the ad read to be done.
Oh, Christ. Anywho, there's 5. Count them. 5 home games left until the trade deadline. 5. So that might be only 5 games left to see Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves in a Blackhawks
And the
uniform.
last one, March 2nd against Dallas, $16.
$16.
Buy those now,
I mean-
and then if you want to flip them later, go for it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if they're still on the team and they've waived their no trade clause, I would imagine they'd probably be held out of the lineup that night. But
Could
you
be.
never know. Get those tickets, $16. There's only 14 home games left, period. So we're getting into the home stretch of Blackhawks games. If you want to join us, we'll be there. At any one of those home games, except for the 10th, you got to buy those tickets from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join
Like
us.
now, before they
Jump
go
on it.
away. But head over to Game Times, created for the fans, by the fans. They guarantee the lowest price. If you find a ticket price lower than what you see on Game Time on any one of those other imitation websites, let them know, and they will match it. If you love CHGO, you will love Game Time, and the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the podcast description. If you're watching on YouTube right now, scroll down, smash that giant white thumb, and then underneath you will see the link for the Game Time tickets, or wherever you're listening to our podcast. Subscribe over there, leave a 5-star review, and click on the Game Time link in the description and join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats and for your favorite events.
Yeah, and hit that like button for us
That
if you're
might be
watching
the worst
us.
read in the history of CHGO.
Oh, no.
no.
At least you said the right sponsor.
Yeah, this is true.
Unlike me.
Yeah.
By the way, you were correct. That was my diabetes
I
monitor.
was gonna say,
However, I just got a glucose monitor full time. which is awesome, but I was too far away from it. So it's telling me like your signal's lost.
It's like,
I'm like, is my blood sugar going up like astronomically right now?
You're either too far, you've either lost your phone or you've died alarm.
I'm about to slip into a coma.
I did want to hop in here for a quick second and just confirm, about Scorch here, what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And the reason he was so short-lived, his existence was actually only 5 days total because immediately upon launching him, they decided to tweet this picture which depicts him killing a firefighter.
They burned him alive.
So,
oh my God.
He was immediately scratched from the rotation.
No.
That's that.
Wait, you showed he was in honor. He was like honoring some fire that happened.
It was, the whole thing is in I think, in
remembrance of
very
a great
poor
fire
taste and was not received well.
What the hell? What is happening in Calgary?
That? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I don't know.
Oh
I think
my
that person
God.
works in White Sox PR these days.
Oh no.
Cheap shot fired, but
Oh,
hey,
man.
whatever.
Deserved.
What a
Deserved.
visual.
Oh, that is such a bad
That
picture.
is awful. Like for you guys listening on the audio only, this is doing nothing
man.
for you.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
It's
Just imagine
Scorch.
a Scorch Harvey the Hound laying face down in the dirt as Scorchy looks on it with an
my
evil look on
God.
his non.
It's really, it's like a dark image for any
is,
mascot.
yeah.
That's
It's bad.
Hashtag cursed image. Is that what they say?
That's-
The kids
that's
these days.
bad.
Good Lord.
Images that preceded bad events.
Yeah.
Yeah, the end of Scorchy. He long may he reign.
We got quotes rolling in from the Calgary Flames. Jonathan Huberdeau.
Save us.
Obviously, it's unacceptable. All right.
Obviously.
There you
Obviously.
go.
Obviously.
Hockey player
That's-
speaks.
that's a hockey quote, right?
Start
If I've
sentence
ever
with
heard one.
obviously.
Obviously.
Obviously, we need to be obviously better, obviously.
Obviously.
Luke Richardson says, we had 20 guys going here tonight. We really skated from the beginning to end. We had some great scoring chances and played real hard defensively. It was a
Razor
real
was huge
solid
on the
game.
bench.
And Jason Dickinson, Big Dicky himself, on playing with Patrick Kane, says he sees the ice extremely well. Yes, he does. And he makes some unbelievable passes, so you've got to be ready at all times for that play you think is over, because in his mind, it's never over.
Credit to Luke Richardson for including Peter Mrazek and being
Yeah.
ready to play today.
I was going to say 20
He
guys.
looked really good wearing his hat.
He
on
was
the
ready.
bench.
He was fired up.
He was ready to go.
He was just happy Max
Just
Domi
sitting there
wasn't
like,
throwing
let's
guys
go.
on him tonight.
Yeah. And a little update on Jonathan Taves. Richardson said Taves was feeling, quote, achy and not great.
Well, that's not good.
Hashtag pooping.
Well, I mean, he
Sounds like me every morning when my alarm goes off, achy and not great.
Or when you almost fell down today before the show started.
When my knee forgot to bend.
well, I mean, he took the morning skate, so that's an interesting development between then and game time. But hopefully, it's nothing too serious.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's just aches and pains and can get over it in a few
Yeah,
hours.
officially, the official statement is non-COVID related illness.
Yeah.
So, and the Hawks had that going through the team for, that was a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I
probably.
wouldn't think that'd be the same thing.
Yeah, no, but
No.
it's just it's that time of year. Things
Yeah.
happen and guys don't feel good, and you're trying to lose.
That's true.
What's that? You're a little achy? Yeah, you should sit.
You should definitely
this
sit
game.
out.
You
Yeah, I
should
don't know
definitely-
though. I mean, they're 4-0 when either Kane or Taves is out of the lineup.
Yeah,
so
you
maybe
you can't trade him.
Well,
Can't
that-
trade
see,
him now. They gotta
That to
keep
me,
him.
I don't think it's going to remain that way if and when those guys are traded. But they play different.
they play simpler.
Yes, they play a different game without those guys. And I thought, like when Kane was out, it made sense because just like Dickinson said, you got to be ready. You get. I don't want to say you get out of your instincts a little bit, but when you're on the ice with him, you've got to be ready. Like he said, you got to be ready all the time, and you don't really play the same way you would play with two other line mates.
Yeah.
Taves is not really that kind of a player. He's a north and south, especially at this point in his career, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's not a guy who you would really adjust your game to play with. We might be really overanalyzing this, and the Flames just sucked ass tonight, which I think is probably the most likely scenario.
That's what
Yeah.
it was.
But you can't ignore it. They're 4-0 without Kane or Taves.
We've been corrected. Windy City Hockey reminds us they're 4-1-0 because they lost that game in New Jersey.
Oh, right.
That Taves missed.
Yes.
Again, a late
Oh, yeah.
scratch when
That's
Reichel
right.
came in. But they're 4-0 in their last 4 games without them. And the difference, with when Kane was out those 3 games, you replace him with Lucas Reichel, who looked like the Lucas Reichel we need him to be. He looked like the first-round pick, the top prospect in your organization. Tonight, you replaced Jonathan Toews with Luke Philp.
Luke Philp was in the lineup. Boris Katchouk was in the lineup.
So I mean, it was a
tanky lineup for sure.
Tankathon.
Seriously, when I saw those lines in the warm-ups, I was like, my God. And then I said, the Blackhawks are probably going to win tonight because I said 4-3.
Yeah.
And it was like, because hockey is stupid. It's a silly, stupid sport at times.
Yes.
And you look at that lineup at the Flames and you go, yeah, they have no shot to win this game, so they're totally going to win this game.
Boris Katchouk's in the lineup.
And he scores.
He hasn't played since, was it
January
January 3rd?
January 3rd, he hasn't played since.
Not because he's been hurt, because he's been Boris Katchouk.
Every time we're practicing, we try to see, is anybody missing? I'm like, oh, yeah, Katchouk's on his team. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He had a goal and an assist. He had an assist on the empty netter, 2-point game.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on Boris Katchouk because I think we've already established what he is. But it's funny, he returns from injury against the Capitals and plays his ass off. He's laying hits, playing physical, really, really noticeable the entire game. Then that's the last we see of that until this game
tonight,
where he has a goal and assist, plays well. It's clearly there with him. The ability is there, but the consistency is the problem. And it's like Luke Richardson says all the time, you will learn in the NHL that you can't coast. No. You can. He's said that half a dozen times this year, and he seems to be the last guy with the message. Because top to bottom, when you look at this team, the one thing you can say is they compete. They try. They're out there giving their best most of the time. Sometimes it fails, sometimes it succeeds, but the effort's there.
Yeah.
With that guy, he's kind of the one exception to that rule. And guess who notices that? Luke Richardson. Well, and that's why you're not in the lineup since January 3rd or until today when, Toews goes down.
Yeah.
And
he was going to be in.
He was going to be in. That's right.
He was going to be regardless.
Philp was the replacement for Toews. Yeah. But I mean, it had been, 3 full weeks on the calendar since he'd played.
Boris Katchouk is the first ever, the inaugural resident of the Luke Richardson doghouse here in Chicago.
Yeah,
sure.
That's true.
Not being a healthy scratch for 23 days, that's called living in the doghouse.
Mm-hmm. Especially for a coach that really enjoys having a rotation in the lineup, not having guys sit for a long time.
No, he is traditionally this year been like, okay, you're gonna sit. I didn't like what I saw from you. You're sitting this game, but it's usually 1 game, 2 tops.
Yeah, and
you're back in there, depending if they won or lost with you not in the lineup. 23 days he was a healthy scratch. So congratulations on being the first member of the Luke Richardson doghouse.
Well, hey, good response though.
Yeah, let's give him some credit, right?
Absolutely.
He gets back in and makes an impact, and
that's how you stay in the lineup,
right? And he is a frustrating player because you see him at practice, you see him on the ice, you see him in the locker room, and I know this might sound silly, but he looks the part, right? He's got some size, he's got a decent shot. He's not slow by any means. He's not a speed burner. No. He's not, but he's not Pavel Bure.
He has an edge.
But he looks like an NHLer out there.
Yeah.
And he's just a non-factor most of the time.
Yeah.
But I just can't dismiss these 2 games, the Caps game when he came back from injury and this game where all of a sudden he finds this, jam and this hustle in his game and is immediately effective. Dude, get your own message, right? Look at the results when you're out. It is noticeable when he's skating hard and playing hard.
Yeah, he was effective and noticeable the first couple games when he showed up here last year.
Yeah,
and then it disappeared. And a funny note, all 3 NHL players that was involved in that Tampa trade last year all scored tonight. Brendan Hagel scored for the Lightning in their win over Boston. Then we had Taylor Radish and Boris Katchouk scoring tonight. So
There you
all
go.
3 of those guys, and hopefully,
Fair trade across the board.
hopefully those 2 future first-round picks that the Hawks get will each have many nights where they score goals on the same night.
That
Sure,
would be lovely.
why not?
I would very much like that. That's for damn
So
sure.
yep, even trade, total wash.
I think so.
Everybody wins.
Sure. Everybody's happy. And Nick Schmaltz had a hat trick tonight.
Yeah,
Which
good for
I
him.
think I may have
So
mentioned already.
And so
but
did Frank Vetrano. He's not an ex-Hawk, but he helped beat the Avalanche.
Good job.
I kind of
Frank.
do want to check in on DNVR tonight. I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch it.
We'll watch it. We'll listen to it on the way home.
That was the night the Hawks beat them. I went home and watched. I'm like, I got to see it.
I had to check out after
Oh
like
my
5
God.
minutes.
It was. They were not happy.
It was like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, I love a good F-bomb, but after a while, even I was like, yeah, that's too much. I can't do this. I got to check out.
Yeah, they were upset.
Well, they
Well,
What'd you think of the Bulls show tonight, Greg?
Yeah.
that was PG compared to that was a Disney movie compared to that Avs post game
You
show.
know, like Peck challenging the Bulls to eat more meat.
No, I love that, but the night that Avs night was over the top, even for me.
Yeah.
But hey, they hadn't lost since that night. Tonight was their first
Yeah.
loss since they got.
They won what
beat
six in a row.
So maybe they
Well.
need another beating by the Hawks. to
And
get
they're
their-
clearly better without Kale McCarr.
Clearly,
Clearly,
They should trade him.
they should
should.
trade him.
Maybe the Hawks will
Chicago.
take a first-round pick back to eat that salary for them.
Well, they just trade Seth Jones. That's even
oh,
salary.
I like
Jonathan
that.
Taves for Kale McCarr, straight up.
Who says no?
Sure.
Everybody in Denver.
3 cups versus 1. Boom. Taves is better.
Yeah.
Math numbers don't lie.
They don't.
Math,
All right.
the math
How
is
many
right there.
Selkies does Kale McCarr have?
0.
0.
Last time I checked, 0.
He's never going to win one either.
By the way, I saw him last night watching the very oddly broadcast CHL prospects game
Yeah.
that was like apparently filmed with a drone. God, it was dizzying watching that game.
Yeah.
But Kale McCarr with that Supercuts money. He's got the Supercuts endorsement, and he was eating a kale salad on the ad.
Nah, sure. Of course.
Yeah, he's adorable.
Of course he was.
But yeah, he's got the Supercuts contract.
If you were going to sign me to an endorsement deal where I had to eat a kale salad, there better be a lot of zeros in that check. Kale is the worst.
Well, it used to be decorative, and all of a sudden it became something you eat now. Like when you used to go back in the day, like when Wendy's had a salad bar.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Maybe you don't remember
A
that.
super bar.
No, you know what? I do. Yes.
They
they had
it
the
was
salad bar, they had the taco station, and then like the spaghetti station.
yeah,
Super
and then
bar.
kale was not Kale McCarr, but the actual vegetable kale
Was outside the bowl.
outside of it. It
Yeah.
was like the garnish for the
Yeah.
Someone must have gotten some by mistake and been like,
People
hey,
eat parsley now too. It's like, I thought that was just a little twig you put on top of the food that you flicked off.
well, I'll flick off all vegetables. All right, let's do our 4 stars.
Hard to
of the
believe I'm
game.
not a kale guy, right? I love Kale McCarr, but the vegetable, I won't eat it. Weird.
All right, the 3 stars of the game. Number
Been a
3
wonderful
star.
show.
This was my pick, by the way. I'm very upset about this. Colin Blackwell was the number 3 star of the game. He ended the game with an assist and just played very, very well. His 7th assist of the season. Number 2 star Patrick Kane finishing with an assist, and your number 1 star Jackson Stauber, who stopped 34 of 35 Calgary Flames shots on goal. My 4 star of the game is Taylor Radish, who also picked up a goal, his 13th of the season. I basically picked Taylor Radish because it's a guy who's had a pretty good year for the Hawks that I feel like we never spend time talking about.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't really know what we were getting in him when the Hawks traded for him with the Brandon Hagel trade. He was the star for the first few games when he joined the team. We dubbed the Radish Garden in Studio B. And he's just kind of picked up where he's left off. And he's become a reliable, dependable depth scorer. Now, when they're ready to win again, he's not going to be a top 6 guy. But when you talk about cup contenders and playoff teams, depth guys like Taylor Radish, they go a long way.
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing, kind of like now everyone's talking about maybe trading Sam Lafferty. Those 2 guys, like unless you're going to get like a second for them, you got to hang on to some of these guys.
Yeah.
And I think Radish has earned the right to stick around here for a little while longer.
He's not just depth scorer. He's second on the team in goals
Yeah.
with 13.
Yep.
He's got more goals than 4 more goals than Patrick Kane. That's not depth. He's one of your leaders. And we talked all season about who are the guys that are going to be here beyond next season. We, obviously Seth Jones and Philip Kurashev most likely. Taylor Radish, I mean, bring him back. He's been really solid in a top 6 role. He's a guy that's was given an opportunity, and he has ran with it and done well.
And Domi leads the team with 14 goals. Taves and Radish have 13. They're right there. It's
Yeah, he's definitely not a guy that you should just toss away and say, well, he's just another random guy who's just here for a short time. I mean, he's definitely playing his way into a role that you could see him here for a few more years. Still relatively young as far as NHL standards go and where he's at in his career. So some of the best hockey he could play could be still ahead of him, which would be great. I mean it's been good to have him. He was buried on the depth chart in Tampa, and he came to Chicago and had a big opportunity. He's made the most of it. So yeah, it's good to see from him. One of the guys that on that trio of that's been really consistently effective has been Radish, Taves, and Kurashev, and I feel like he's like you said, like he's kind of like the least that paid attention to out of those 3, and he's been an equal part of why that trio on that second line has been really effective this season when they've played together, and why especially Kurashev has really blossomed is I think playing with Radish and with Taves has made a difference.
Yeah, he's definitely worth keeping around for a little while longer. When we start getting some of those talented, young, dynamic forwards here, hopefully a Connor Bedard or Fantilli, Frank Nazar gets here, and some of these other guys that haven't even been drafted yet, he could turn out to be, the next really good Blackhawks team's Brian Bickle type player, the guy that gets to the front of the net and plays physical, creates space for your dynamic players, and he's not going to cost you anything. So, might as well hang on to him for a little while and roll with it. Speaking of rolling with it, I'm going to roll right into my 4-star pick. I'm going to take the world famous Boris Katchouk. I'm the type of guy that always says, I will criticize you when it's worthy of it, but I will also heap praise on you when you deserve it. And tonight he deserves it. We just talked about him. He had the goal. He picked up an assist on the Connor Murphy empty netter. So he finished with 2 points, was a +2, played 12:59. He only had 1 shot, but it went in. So that's 100% shooting percentage last time I checked, and that's very good. That'll get you in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He had a hit. He had a takeaway, a block shot. Do I expect 2 points a night out of Boris Katchouk? No. But just be noticeable. Be effective.
Be a factor.
In a good way.
Do what Reese Johnson does on a nightly basis. Reese Johnson plays 9-10 minutes a night, but when his 9-10 minutes he's out there. Mm-hmm. Just be noticeable in a good way.
Yeah.
Not taking dumb penalties or being caught a passenger on a play when the puck's in your own net. And he didn't do any of that tonight. He was very good. His best game of the season, and that's how you stay in the lineup.
Absolutely. My 4-star of the night was a guy who was not expecting to play, but given the circumstances, was in the lineup, and good thing he was. Luke Philp, second NHL game, first NHL point. He gets the primary assist, or gets on the Kane goal, I believe, right?
No, it was the Katchouk goal.
Or Katchouk goal, I'm sorry. So first NHL point, definitely going to get some recognition for that. Good for him. He's a guy that's really worked hard to get to this point. Paid his dues for sure in the minor leagues, and getting into the Blackhawks system give him a chance to get up here and making the most of it. So yeah, good for him. Good for Luke. We'll see how long he ends up staying up here, but it's good to see him get in and contribute and get that milestone.
Yeah, I had a question on Twitter earlier. I think it was Region Rev, actually. I know she was here earlier tonight, asking, like, why do they bother call up Philip Roos if they're not going to play him? And I think basically it's calling him was more of an insurance policy.
You're on the road.
You're on the road far away, pretty much as far away from here as you can be.
Yeah.
And it's just have a guy on the road in case you have an injury and you don't need to try and fly a guy from Rockford to Edmonton on last minute basis.
Right.
I wasn't really expecting Roos to play, but maybe he gets in the next, like, get him a game.
Luke
Edmonton.
doesn't like people to sit too long usually
But-
ever. But
I mean,
Yeah,
they're
throw
coming
him in-
off a
throw
win.
him in against
Yeah,
McDavid.
that's the thing. Do you really want to throw him out there against Connor McDavid? Here, kid, you haven't played in the NHL in 3 months. Go get Connor McDavid.
I can't stop. Every time we mention McDavid, I think of what the last time the Hawks were playing the Oilers, and we asked Jake McKay, how do you stop McDavid? And he just went, it's like, I don't know. Like, what do you
tell
want
me.
me to say?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if you have a suggestion, let me know. By the way, back to Taylor Radish real quick. The Athletic has their NHL player cards you can go through. They update them every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
And I mostly think this is all like very number mumbo jumbo. Like they have like what's the actual value of this player, and they have like Seth Jones is like a league minimum value player. If that's your result of your numbers are effed up.
Yeah.
They're like whatever you think of Seth Jones, come on, that's idiotic. But in terms of Radish, they project that his market value would be $2.1 million. He makes $0.8 million, so he's playing higher than his financial.
Playing above his money.
Playing
value.
above his money grade, right?
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting when some of these things, like when you dig into the numbers and look at them, because again, we've done, what game is this? 47?
47.
And I feel like we spent maybe 5 minutes on Taylor Radish this year. and,
Yeah.
and maybe that's a good thing because we're either focusing on who's the tank commander of that night's
Right.
game, right?
So who's getting traded?
Yeah, or who's having like, holy shit, look at this game out of nowhere, like a Colin Blackwell game or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
And he's just steadily done his thing, right? He just kind of plays a very simple game. So it's something to keep an eye on. I as we talked about on our show from yesterday, was that yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. As we kind of did the trade deadline big board, we talked about like there's so many guys that could potentially be traded here, but don't trade everybody. I think that would be
Well, you can't.
Don't trade for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, someone's offering us a 4th round pick for Taylor Radish. Cool. No. Like, set your value for everybody and
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
stick to it. And
And
I think he will because he stuck to everything else he said this year.
Yeah, Taylor Radish is a Luke or a Kyle Davidson type of player. Bigger guy, plays hard. It's why he acquired him. You can't tell me that he doesn't want one of those two guys to be a success story here
Longer
in Chicago
term, yeah.
to justify the Brendan Hagel trade.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get two decent players and those first round picks and Taylor Radish, it turns out to be a yearly 20-goal scorer for the next 5 or 6 years. 15, 20 goals.
That's a big win.
That's going to make it look even better. So, of course, there's a little bit of pride from Kyle Davidson attached to Taylor Radish, where he's like, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you this kid was going to be good. So, those GMs, they all have their egos, and they want to see the guys they bring in on trades that he got ripped for when it happened. Not necessarily ripped, but, he traded away a very popular player who's doing very good for Tampa. So, of course, he's going to want Taylor Radish to do good here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same thing for Sam Lafferty. Like that's a huge win when you look at the trade value of Sam Lafferty and Alex Nylander and Davidson. That was his first move. And the returns for Sam Lafferty have been great compared to what Alex Nylander did or would have done.
Alex Nylander has yet to play a game for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the NHL.
There you go.
Lafferty's another one too where I feel like there's more there.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more production possible for him because he went like a month and a half without, I think at the 25 game mark of this, I did my like 25 games and then halfway through grades, and he was my biggest disappointment at that point because we saw such good things from him after the
really
trade
hot.
last year, and then started great this year, like you said, and then just completely fell off. But lately he's been playing great, and I hope. Maybe he was still a little banged up. Who knows? Working through, getting back, getting healthy, and who knows? Like on the other side of this bye, everybody's got a chance to kind of heal up a little bit,
Right.
and get better. So I hope to see Lafferty for the rest of the season show what he's shown over the last little bit here versus that little poor stretch he had early in the season.
Yeah, and that's another one of those Kyle Davidson guys. I don't think he's just going to say, "Oh, cool, I'm going to trade Lafferty." You know, we've heard the Leafs are all of a sudden interested in Sam Lafferty, but could be interested in him. But unless again they offer a second-round pick, okay,
yeah.
But anything less than that, I'm not interested because you have to have. You got to keep some of these guys at some point.
Well, and
he's a good guy to have here for when this team is good again.
Yeah,
he's your perfect bottom six guy. He's your Dave Bolin type player that does the dirty work but can score a few goals every once in a while.
And this is probably a topic for a bigger day, but you have to. And I don't think Davidson is doing this, but you can't fall in love with draft picks because. What are the odds a third-round pick turns into a player as good as Sam Lafferty or Taylor Radish? Is there a chance? Yeah. Would I bet that said player, because if it's the Leafs or whoever, a contender trading for Lafferty, it's going to be a bottom of the third round, like
later
bottom 10, right? So what are the odds of that player becoming better and more value, and that's kind of the calculation.
Right. Why trade a guy that's Sam Lafferty now for the possibility of getting a player who could be Sam Lafferty 4 years from now?
Yes, right.
Just why don't you just hang on to the guy you got?
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
And you also can't trade 10 players at this deadline and then be like, okay, come on, Ice Hogs, you're all coming up.
That point's gonna be like You're on beer vendor from 309. You're playing on the fourth line tonight.
I'll dust off my gear and volunteer, but that you can't just decimate your NHL roster like that and then end up screwing up the goals that you had for the Ice Hogs this year, which was to contend and compete, and you need all your players, as many as possible, down there as long as possible. So I wouldn't expect this to be a complete fire sale in the sense of, here, we're getting rid of 8 of our roster players. It's just not going to happen.
All right, coming up next, we're going to update the tank standings and spin the tank wheel. We've got 2 bonus spins tonight. We've got 66 likes. If we get to 75, we'll add a third bonus spin. First, we want to tell you about the NFL playoffs. You may have heard they're happening this weekend. 4 NFL teams remain, 2 conference championship games, and only a few more shots to win big on the playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Counting down to Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. If you're not a new customer, you can still feel the conference championship thrills with stepped-up same-game parlays. Take your shot at an even bigger NFL payout and boost your winnings with each leg you add up to 100%. I'm really looking at some QB props this weekend. I might combine some overs, and who knows what's happening in Kansas City. I think you literally have to lock Patrick Mahomes up in a jail cell and then
play.
Put that jail cell in another jail cell to keep him from playing.
You're going to have to send Scorchy to his house.
Send Scorch to his house to kill him. And he still might play. Oh my God! It's a Scorch Patrick Mahomes.
He'll come riding in on old Blasty. Save the day for the
Chiefs. It's gonna be awesome though.
My God, that's Pat Mahomes music.
By the way, I'm getting off track to read here, but DraftKings doesn't care.
That never happened.
I didn't know Joe Burrow is such a thirst trap for young ladies. Holy cow!
Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I didn't know that either. He is.
Yeah,
he's not a bad looking kid. And
I think it's the swag factor.
Yeah.
Confidence.
Oh yeah.
And,
I wouldn't mind being
NHL
Joe Burrow
paycheck.
for a weekend. Just saying that
would
wouldn't
yes.
suck.
That would be fun. The highlight of him, I showed my daughter is 12, and I showed my daughter the little video of him throwing that spin pass before the game.
Yeah,
and she's like, he's not cute, and her face was like I think her head caught on fire. Mm-hmm. Sure, kid, whatever you say.
Joe cool.
Yeah, he is cool. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code CHGO. New customers, again, bet $5 on the conference championships and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. We want to remind everybody about our United Center takeover coming on February 10th. Mm-hmm. The best way to save on that deal is to become a diehard at CHGO. How do you do that? Go to allchgo.com and sign up. You will get a free shirt or hat upon sign up and 20% off everything in the CHGO locker and on all of our events, including the takeover. If you're already a diehard or you just want to go to the event, that's cool too. You're going to get the CHGO hockey shirt, a brand new design. You're going to hang out with us at the United Center. You're going to get a ticket to the game. Before the game, we're going to be at the Goose Island Brewery in the UC, and you're going to get a free drink at the pregame. It's going to be an awesome time. Come hang out with us at the United Center, allchgo.com for details. And if you're a diehard, make sure you click on that diehard tab. Then you'll see diehard events, and you'll be able to select down and make sure you get that promo code that you can use to save on the deal. So it's awesome. It's going to be a wonderful time. I am so, all of us want to thank all of you for making it sell as well and as quickly as it has.
Yeah.
We weren't sure how it was going to go with it being the first one and the Hawks not being that great. But you guys have stepped up and bought tickets, and literally there's maybe at most 5 tickets
It's
left.
a
You
handful.
count them on one hand.
Yeah. So
But yes, you guys are Blackhawk fans are the embodiment of diehards. So thank you guys for making it a quick success here, and let's get it sold out, and let's have a great time on the 10th.
Yep. All right, let's update the tank standings, shall we?
So
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to our guy, Blackwell, Colin Blackwell.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot
Oh,
the
yeah.
name there.
King of the game.
Oh, yeah,
the game.
DraftKings King of the Game. My
We
bad.
can't forget Colin
Yeah,
Blackwell.
Colin Blackwell with an assist, 4 shots on goal, 13:20 of ice time, and just a freaking ball of energy out there, as he is every game. I know we like to have fun at his expense, but man, if this, I don't want to, if these guys played as hard as you did, we'd be undefeated. Not really true, but he's out there trying his hardest, and man, you just hope he can start converting on some of these chances because he deserves it.
Yeah.
He really does.
Millimeters away from a hat trick tonight.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
crazy.
And he stayed on his feet for most of the time he was on the ice.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna
that's a big
joke,
win.
I was going to joke, but it was the king of the game. I don't want to joke too much, but I was to say it. And he immediately fell down after this picture was taken. There was a play in the first period where somebody came all the way across and hit a flame along the boards, and then the camera changed immediately. But I saw the player that threw the check had bounced off said flame and was on the ice. I was like, "Oh, I bet you that was Blackwell." And sure enough, he comes
He came
skating
back
out.
in
Like,
the
there
frame.
he is.
Yep, there he is.
But we kid because we care, and
Yeah.
good for Colin Blackwell. I love the fact that he gets to be a DraftKings king of the game.
And he
Listen,
deserves
if it was for poor play, we wouldn't be joking about it. We'd be saying, sit your ass down up in the press box with us, but not too close to us because, we're telling you to sit your ass down. But, yeah, look, Blackwell, great game tonight. Yeah, the embodiment of this season. Just trying really hard,
Yeah.
and we really appreciate the effort.
All right, we need 3 more likes for that extra spin, so let's get it. Come on, 72 likes we got so far. But here's the updated tank standings real quick. I love that graphic. It's so fun. All right, Anaheim leads the tank standings with Columbus, both with 33 points in 48 games. The Hawks third with 34 points in 47. Arizona with 37 and 48, and San Jose with 38 and 49. So the Hawks currently third in the tank standings, but any of those teams win, they're going to leapfrog the Blackhawks, and they will be back in the first spot. And remember,
Actually, Anaheim has 35 points,
oh,
if I'm not mistaken.
Did I screw it up again? Screwed
on,
up
Joe.
All
last-
right.
jeez, man,
That's all right.
That's all right. And
Jeez, Louise,
we wouldn't have been able to glorify Colin Blackwell.
See, last
without you
time
reminding us, so-
I remember because you guys said you're like, you got to get the standings on NHL.com. They're going to update right away.
Yeah. Anaheim
Anaheim
is,
35, so Blackhawks are
35.
second with 34.
34, and Columbus is
Sitting
in
pretty
dead
with
last
33,
with
yes.
33.
That's my bad on that one.
That's
It's
all
all
right.
right.
We'll let it slide. You don't.
all right.
You're not.
I'm no Steven.
You're,
Sorry.
You're if they were bowl stats, you'd be all over it. That's what you're used to.
That's true.
You're pulling double duty tonight.
It's all
You're
right.
still a little
Yeah.
jet lagged from spending some
Just a
time
little
in
bit.
Paris.
Yeah.
We'll let it slide.
It's no excuse.
you're all full of baguettes.
Well,
Big
it's
Dave has
like-
taught
Still
me,
on the metric system.
accountability. That one's on me, and we'll get it next time.
That's all right.
It happens.
The other thing,
cool.
by the way, if we're going by the point percentage, the Hawks are still third. So
Sure, yes.
All right, we've
Thank
reached
you.
our threshold of 75 likes. We
go.
appreciate
Yeah, right.
that.
You guys are
So we
awesome.
have 4 spins
4?
On Tankathon.
Oh,
We've
yes,
got
yes, you're right.
the one we do every game. We've got the 2 in the bank and the one that
the
was
extra.
earned.
Yep.
And remember, if we spin
Right.
and the Hawks win before we exhaust the other ones,
We're done.
we bank them.
Yes.
Yep.
So they stay banked.
Like they did on Tuesday night.
Yes.
All right, so-
if the Hawks win the first one, we're over, Joey, because we always end on a happy note.
Yes, that's right.
All right.
All right,
All
so
right,
let's
you
give it a
guys
spin
just
here.
Give it a spin.
Give it a spin-a-rooney, and we drop down to
Ooh.
4th.
Columbus, Philly, Anaheim, Chicago, Arizona. Nope.
Again?
Rejected.
Not
You
wonderful.
gotta hit. I think you got to
Hit
hit
reset.
reset
Hit
first.
reset.
Do it again.
And
And
then
you
sim
hit- yeah.
lottery.
All right, here we go.
Number
Round
2.
number 2.
Islanders.
Islanders.
What the hell? Islanders move up 10 spots.
Is that even legal?
I don't even know
think
if
they
that can
do
happen.
that.
Yeah, that they're you can move
So
up
that-
10
so that
spots
was the-
maximum.
that
So
was
that's
the
the
team with the
last
longest
team that
shot.
could win it. Yeah.
That's a bunch of BS.
Yeah,
Get out
no.
of here with that. All
Islanders,
right.
Ducks, Blue Jackets, Hawks. No, that sucks.
all
I'm
right.
glad we have extra spins
All
tonight.
right.
All right, two more.
into our international spins.
All right, well, that's just pretty.
Well, that's uneventful.
Yeah, Anaheim, Columbus, Chicago,
That was a
Arizona.
lazy one.
No, that sucks.
All right.
All right,
Come
last
on.
one.
Come
All
on.
right.
Come on,
Let's do
Hawks.
it.
Let's land on a high note. Yeah!
There we
Yeah.
go.
Number 1, Connor
Chicago,
Bedard.
Vancouver, Columbus, Anaheim. By the way,
Love that.
just aesthetically, can't you see Adam Vantilli in a Canucks jersey?
Sure.
Doesn't it just like
Yeah.
Okay.
it looks right?
As long as Connor Bedard.
As long as
As long
Connor
as
Bedard's
Connor
in
Bedard's
his
in a
Blackhawks
Adam
jersey.
Fantilli
I
would
don't-
look great in any other jersey.
I don't care what jersey
Yeah,
Fantilli
as long as
wears.
that's that 98 is in red and black, it's going to be beautiful.
That'll
And
work.
it has the Blackhawks logo on the front
And
and
not
not Old Blasty.
Big Thrusty or whatever his name is.
That's
What is it?
That's a
Full blasty.
that's a different section of the video store.
All right. All right.
Big Thrusty.
Was that your nickname in college?
No. It was the Big Lonely. That was my nickname in college. All right. We're a little slappy from 2 late night games.
Oh, it's only going to imagine what Saturday night's
Oh,
going to be like.
Saturday's gonna be wonderful.
All right.
We'll be
We're
at
back
home
tomorrow
Saturday.
at 2:30. We're remote. We're going to talk about stuff and things.
We're
We're
going
not
to
really
talk
sure.
about thrusties and blasties.
We don't know what
Maybe
we're
that's the
gonna
way we'll
yet.
do worst mascots of all time.
I love
Oh,
that.
God.
Top Shelf Friday. Or
Shortest
whatever.
lived mascot.
F it Friday.
Effort
We'll
Friday.
call the show.
Phone it in Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, we can't be in the studio, so
So let's
you know,
just do
we'll
some
phone it in.
pre-recorded stuff.
Let's wrap up.
Don't worry, they stopped
before
watching
we
a
get
long
in
time
trouble.
ago.
All right. Thanks, Joey, for running the show, for doing a double shift for us. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. We'll be back
Thank you,
tomorrow at
fans.
2:30. Make sure you're there with us. We appreciate it. And remember, we are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up. For Greg and Mario, I'm Jay. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. That was a dumb show.